Niclas Füllkrug is desperate to leave West Ham. He's telling anyone and everyone that he wants to leave. And yesterday, Florian Plettenberg, who is the Sky Sports Germany football correspondent, did his third tweet within the last 7 days about Fkrug leaving. He might actually get what he wants. Is that going to be what West Ham wants? Because AC Milan are apparently coming in for him. And AC Milan are the only club that I think that can afford him. Before I talk about that, we've got a raffle at Hammers Chat. It's only £1 to enter. Just £1. There's 3 prizes. First one's a signed Jared Bowen's shirt. Second one's a signed Freddie Potts shirt. They're rare as rocking horse, what's it, right? And the third one is like Hammers Chat bundle, West Ham scarf, Oddballs hat, boxer short socks, that sort of thing. It's £1. Just £1 gets you an entry into it. The link's in the description below. Go and have a look. Check it out. We've had 14 different winners so far, so go and have a look. They've all left feedback. It's all official and above board. A great way to support Hammers Chat, and well, really good way for you lot to get some pretty rare stuff for only £1. Anyway, that's that. Links in the description below. Plettenberg. He is, you'll remember this guy. He's the, as I say, Sky News Germany, Sky Sports News Germany, football correspondent. Very, very closely aligned with Tim Steiten. So he was all over this stuff. Anything and everything to do with Fkrug, Plettenberg has been all over it. And I just sort of had a little look back before doing this video at quite how involved he's been. Really, really early into Fkrug's first season, and I mean 3 months into his first season with West Ham, we heard he was homesick and he wanted to go back to the Bundesliga. He's had, as I can see, I don't want to call him like significant in terms of ACL injuries, the sort that keep you out for a year, but it doesn't really matter because he's had what I would call 3 medium-term injuries, which have meant he just hasn't really played for us. He's been here, 18 months now, something like that. You have 3 medium-term injuries over that period, you're pretty much out for 18 months, or at least that's been what it seems. By the time you've got back to fitness, by the time you've got playing again, it's been a disaster of a signing. It was interesting that I keep forgetting the agent's name. Thorsten. I think his name's Thorsten Wirtz. I think that is Fkrug's agent's name. And it was quite telling. He said, I think it's all time that we all admitted that the transfer hasn't worked out. And again, I started looking back chronologically through it from the start. What do you mean it's time we started admitting it? Fkrug himself, through Plettenberg, called the transfer a nightmare in his first season. It has been a nightmare. But we all know why he joined, because, again, he admitted it himself. He said that, well, there were 2 things. One of them said it was a good opportunity to work with Tim Steiten at the time. Him and Tim Steiten, I think they knew each other from Werder Bremen. I think that was the club. He said it was a good opportunity to work with Tim, but you couldn't turn down the money in the Premier League. Now, we knew this as well because at the time, Gio did an interview with Ian Dark, who is the ESPN Bundesliga correspondent. And he said, West Ham are paid over the odds. He said there is very much deemed to be in Germany a price for a player and a price if you're selling to the Premier League. Now, that works in wages as well. So not only did we overpay for him in terms of his transfer fee, we paid him more wages than ordinarily he would have got. And there is the biggest hindrance to him going out in this transfer window. Nobody's coming in to buy him. Well, so I hear anyway. Nobody's coming in to buy him. So the best thing we can do is get him to go on loan and then hope that he stays fit enough for the remainder of the season and performs well enough that then that club who've loaned him for thinks, you know what, we've got to go and make this deal permanent. I mean, that's really, really a tough thing. He's a good player, right? He definitely has He's got a good skill set. He's a good player. He's a good finisher. He looks to be a really good character to have around the dressing room as well. He links play okay. He's probably not quite mobile enough for what you'd want in the Premier League. It's not his ability. It's his injury record. It was there for all to see. We were a little bit duped at West Ham because before he joined us, he'd not been injured for about 18 months. Before that, he'd been injured plenty of times. He'd sort of missed about a third of the games throughout his career. That's how bad his injury record was. So to think he can go on loan somewhere and play injury-free for the rest of the season, we don't really have any evidence to suggest that, even just looking at the last 18 months of West Ham. The biggest issue is you can understand West Ham are not happy with this transfer. What I would suggest is West Ham have only got themselves to blame. A lot of blame has gone on Tim Stuyton for this, but Tim Stuyton's first choice was John Duran. And we messed around. West Ham messed around, messed John Duran, his agent, around. We messed around Aston Villa over £3 million, right? I think something like we'd bid 35, they were ready to do business at 38. Not only that, West Ham told Duran and told his agent, we'll get the deal done. This will be done. It looked like it was getting done. That's why John Duran did the crossed hammers on his Instagram. He never thought he was even going back to Aston Villa's training ground again, right? Anyway, the rest is history. The deal didn't get done, so it was a case of, Tim, can you find somebody else? He did. He found Niclas Füllkrug, right? But the club obviously are not happy about it, even though they've got to take their portion of blame, but they never will. It's the club. It's always someone else's fault, right? They signed off on a deal, though. I think the problem is he's on such high wages that there is no appetite within West Ham to subsidise his wages to go somewhere else. And I made this point the other day. And for that part, I would agree, because we lose too much money on wages. So he's on something like, he's on over 100 grand a week. We'll never know the precise figures, but he's on something like 100 grand a week. Plettenberg yesterday tweeted that Fkrug was, that there was interest from Wolfsburg and Augsburg. Augsburg. I don't know why I said it like that. That's probably not how you say it at all. Okay, brilliant. The trouble was, you also hear that nobody in Germany has yet offered to pay more than 40% of his wages. Which, even if it's 100 grand a week, that's 40 grand. It's basically West Ham are going to have to pay 60 grand a week for him to play somewhere else. Now, as far as West Ham are concerned, they're just not going to do it. No. So this is the thing. It's not a case of almost forcing the buying club to pay more, which they probably should do and they want to do. It's a case of saying to Fkrug, look, mate, you're kicking off all the time. If you want out so bad, basically, if you want to leave West Ham, you don't get West Ham wages anymore. These wages that you said all the Premier League, they're too good to turn down. Well, you're going to have to. Because what you hear from Fkrug, and we've covered this already, but I'll say it very, very quickly. Apparently, he wants to leave, not because he's homesick anymore, but because he wants to get in the German squad. Every German squad where he's been fit enough since he's been at West Ham, he's got into. He's been injured twice on international duty. It's absolutely ridiculous to suggest that he's not getting in. He is getting in the German squad. Clearly, they really like him there. But, so anyway, it's a load of nonsense. It's a nonsense excuse. It's not true. But what West Ham are saying is we're not going to subsidise you going there. We're not going to do that for you. If you want so badly to go back to Germany, which is really what it's all about, apparently, we'll get to the AC Milan thing in a minute because that certainly isn't Germany, then take a pay cut. And I don't mind it. Look, they got a lot wrong. The club do a lot wrong. But on that, I don't mind that stance. I don't mind that stance at all. I think the other thing is we're not going to get rid of him until we've got another striker through the doors in January. He seems to want to have it all his own way, very much having his cake and eating it, Fkrug, on this one. Now, this is where the AC Milan one becomes interesting. Because if there's anybody that can probably afford his wages, it will be one of Europe's super clubs, and AC Milan are certainly that. So I just think it makes it a little bit more realistic. Will they pay 100% of his wages? Well, possibly not, but if they were willing to pay him 80 grand a week, it may well be that Fkrug agrees to take the pay cut, or whatever the case may be. I do think there's more likely there a deal to be made. It's a prestigious club, high profile enough for him to stay in the Germany squad if he stays fit enough. Serie A's not as quick. It's just not as quick as the Premier League. So I would argue, actually, Serie A probably suits him a little bit more than the Bundesliga, which is quicker than Serie A. So I'm interested. I think this is really, really interesting. And so he's got a decision to make. He might really want to go back to Germany, but then it becomes a question, well, actually, how much of it is you just want to leave West Ham? If that is it, then you've got to say, and you've got to have a look at it, and you've got to think that actually taking that offer from AC Milan ain't too bad at all. Listening to what Nuno Espirito Santo had to say about Thomas Souček as well, I just think the longer time goes on, he is going to be our option off the bench as a striker. And who can argue with it? You know, if he's going to do that, important games, important goals, back-to-back games. He's always been a threat. What you don't want him is slowing down the midfield. Because he's obviously not the best with a ball at his feet in the middle of the park. Take that away, and you've got all the plus points and none of the negatives of Thomas Souček. And if Souček's happy enough to be that emergency break glass player from the bench, what's not to like? I mean, there's I think he'd be absolutely brilliant, and he seems happy enough to do it at the moment. So I don't even think that role's available at West Ham, really. West Ham definitely need to get a striker in January. As for Fkrug, I'm a bit sick of him, to be honest. And I like him. I think he's a good guy, but it's all about him at the moment. He signed a contract, and I think this is the thing they don't understand, a lot of these players. You signed the contract, mate. You can't have all you want. You see, what he wants the riches, and he wants to play where he wants. But he can't. If he leaves West Ham, he doesn't get the big bucks anymore. Simple as that.